All right, you got to scooch over more.
This is as close as I can get to you.
All right, it says we're live. It takes a second.
When I put this on.
Well, wait till some people are there. Okay, we got one viewer. It's working.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up over here. We got one viewer. It's working. Oh. Here's where I was able to watch the comments. Okay, we got some viewers. All right, I think we're watching the comments now. Somebody send a comment in and let's see if we can see it. Let's see if somebody sends a comment in. We should see them here. All right, we're up to 30-something people. The count is growing. Welcome, everyone. We've got about 9 minutes, but we started the stream a little early. Just wait on that. Okay, we're up to about 50 people. There we are. Okay, Cindy. Okay, I do see a comment from Cindy. How are you feeling? So there we go. We know that that's working. I'm feeling good. Bob is recovering from his nose surgery. Look up there. There you go. This is delayed down here.
Okay.
All right, we're giving a little bit of time for everyone to join us, but you're all popping in. We're up to 60-something, 70-something people already, so this is great. Wonderful. Thank you all for joining us. It's been cold and rainy here the last couple of days. It's like 50 degrees. It felt like 40s.
Yeah.
It's either poured or spit rain. Today's spit rain all day. It was just cold and nasty. So how's the weather where you guys are? How's the weather? Let's see. Michigan. Michigan likes it. Thank you all. Kimberly loves watching our videos. Scott is in Michigan. Gina says hello. Bintu says hi.
Nice.
We're up over 100 people. Chattanooga, Tennessee. How's the weather in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Katie? Oh, Sue Ward says, go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. It's raining in Tennessee. See, this whole East Coast, I think there was a tropical storm that went up and messed things up. Dallas is cold and windy, so we're not alone.
Yeah.
Rita's in West Virginia. How's it in West Virginia? Vicky's in Pennsylvania. It says cold and nasty. Scott says they missed the Betty videos. Yeah, we do too. We try to share what we have. And actually, I have a few in my phone that have never been posted, so I need to post those. 45 degrees, Katie says. New Jersey, High Point, North Carolina. That's not too far from us.
Right.
Delaware, feeling chilly. Ohio's been good. Susan from England. That's far. Indiana, Illinois. All right, we're just kind of saying hello to everybody. We're going to wait about 6 minutes to start because I had advertised 7 o'clock, so we'll wait till 7 o'clock to officially start. But thank you for those that have come early. Someone said, go Lions. Cold in West Virginia. St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada. We've been there.
Yep.
We've been there.
High
Southern
tide.
California.
High tides in St. John.
Yeah. When is Dad and Josh's next trip? We're taking a trip right after we're taking a trip on Thanksgiving. We're going to leave here Thanksgiving Day. We're going to go on a cruise and we're going to go to Disney.
We're going someplace warm.
The ABC Islands. Let's see, Chicagoland, Vermont. Florida's 76 and beautiful. I'm going to Florida next week myself, so I can't wait.
Not me.
Not him. I'm leaving him home where it's cold and rainy. Indiana. Boy, the comments go by so fast, it's hard to keep up with. There's 168 people on so far. There's almost 90 today in Los Angeles.
Oh.
I would love to be at Disneyland in LA or Universal or San Diego.
Or Knott's Berry Farm.
Knott's Berry Farms. Here's someone from Australia. Hi, Christine. Newcastle, Australia.
And that's where Stanley's from.
That's where Flat Stanley's from. Cleveland, North Carolina. We know where that is. Hope to find you all one of the times in the restaurants. They come to Mooresville a lot. Oh, Caesars. We need to go to Caesars in Danville, Virginia. Yes. My friend Tasha's gone, and we haven't. Did I go to Danville? I went to the. Is that the one on the state line? The Danville. No, that's Bristol. Never mind. I have not been to Danville. I do need to go. We need to go. They smoke in there though, but we'll have to suffer through it. 75 in Florida, no humidity. I can't wait. I'm coming Sunday. Nebraska. ABC Islands will be beautiful. I'm going to save the question about Bob's nose. We're gonna make that the #1 opening question here in 4 minutes. 4 minutes. We've got people joining us. We're up to about 200 people. Another one from South Florida. Sevierville, Tennessee. We haven't been to Dollywood or Pigeon Forge in a while, but I'm thinking maybe in the spring you and I need to get over there. I wanted to try to go in the fall, but the fall got away from us. And then it's either super busy or we've missed the peak leaves. Maine, we know where that is. Brooklyn, New York City. Johns Creek, Georgia. Minnesota. Wow. Albemarle, North Carolina. We know where that is. And that's Matt. Mom's currently dealing with dementia. They say that our stories and posts have really helped them. So I'm glad. I'm glad. Henderson, Nevada. I was just out there. I love the people I work with. Live down Bermuda and Pyle area, kind of down by South Point Casino. So I know that that's kind of right by Henderson. So I know where Henderson is. Massachusetts. Cheers from Virginia. Indiana. Lori goes on a cruise in 16 days. Lucky you.
Yeah.
South Dakota, New Zealand. Irma from New Zealand.
Okay.
Wow. All right, 3 more minutes. We'll officially start. But thank you everybody for tuning in. Poland, but Poland, New York. I've not heard of Poland, New York. Have you ever heard of Poland, New York? No. Erie, PA. We know where that is.
Yep.
New Zealand. Pahrump, Nevada. I know where Pahrump is. Someone's taking a 2-week cruise to Hawaii in 29 days.
Nice.
You did a 1-way thing, but I've done the 2-week, 14 days. It was days that we went from San Diego, days at sea out to Hawaii and enjoyed the islands and came back. It's far. It feels far away. West Columbia, South Carolina, Miami, Oregon. I loved my visit to Portland not too long ago. Denver, Colorado, Florida. Wow, New Jersey's in the house. Hello, Donna. Bullhead City, Arizona. Okay, we got 2 minutes. 2 minutes, we'll officially start. San Diego, California says hi. We really enjoyed San Diego, did we not?
Love it, yeah.
We want to go back there. South Africa. Wow. South Africa. Sandy, thank you for being on tonight. What time is it in South Africa? It's got to be the middle of the night. St. Louis, Missouri. Bakersfield, California. Benton, Tennessee. Cape Cod, Mass. We know where Cape Cod is. Iowa. Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. New Jersey. Philadelphia, PA. Wow, people! We're just amazed always at where people are from. So this is awesome. So thank you guys. 1 minute, we're going to start. I'll be respectful and wait till as we advertise 7 o'clock. But I'm always worried about the technology working just right and giving people time to connect. Time change soon. Time change soon is this weekend. What are we discussing? That we're gonna take questions from people. People always have so many questions. Laughlin, Nevada, Minnesota, Michigan, Gambia, Florida, Alabama. All right, it's officially 7 o'clock. Thank you everyone for joining the live Q&A with myself and Bob. All right. I decided he talked too much last time, so this way, no talking. He's got his nose taped. He's got his mouth taped. Oh, poor Bob. Now people are gonna be calling the authorities. They're gonna think this is real. All right, you can take the tape off. Want me to rip it off? Whose idea was the tape?
Mine.
Yes, his idea. And he couldn't get to where the tape was because the scooter is parked in the way. But I'm like, okay, I can go get the tape. We're going to take your questions. So as you have your questions, put them in the chat.
First question.
The first question is, what happened to your nose? I'll let you talk.
He didn't hit me.
I didn't hit him.
No, I had some skin cancer on the end of my nose. Too many summers spent on the boat in the sun, and they took it off by Mohs surgery. And I've got to leave this on for another 24 hours, and
Yep.
then I can put a smaller bandage on there. But I'm fine. I got it all off.
Did it hurt?
No.
The biopsy, when you did the biopsy,
The biopsy hurt worse than
and we had trouble getting that to stop bleeding. But they were worried about that with this, and they cauterized you.
Yeah.
Cauterize you. I've got a couple of questions that people submitted ahead. So while you guys are go ahead and submit your questions into the chat room. Beverly wanted to know, how did we know we were done traveling with Betty?
Well, it just become so difficult getting her in the car. We worried about the bathroom situations. We actually, when we traveled with her, we had to plan where we were going to take her.
Yeah, we had to make sure there were bathrooms that we could help her in, places that had the companion bathrooms. We had to be prepared for bad bathroom messes.
Change of clothes.
Clothing going badly, clothing getting messed up. It was very complicated. It was like traveling with a small child or a baby where you had to be prepared.
Yeah. And then it became problematic to even get her in and out of the car. We tried all kinds of things, steps, and that didn't work too well.
Yeah.
We had different handles to help her get in, and she didn't know how to use them, and so we just knew it was time not to go anymore.
Yeah, it became too much work for us. Too much stress, and too much stress on her being at home in the home environment. I mean, we did a lot of things that disrupted the routine, and routine is very important for people with Alzheimer's disease. So we kind of paid the consequence to that, and that it was more difficult for us. She was fairly flexible, and we could manage those things and go on cruises or go to casinos or even go to Disney and make that work. But eventually it became too hard.
Probably that last year and a half.
Yeah, the last year and a half. Did you have fun going on the cruise?
I did until we were 5 or 6 days into it, and then I got the norovirus, and
Right.
I was put down one day, and then I was kind of off on my feed for 2 days after that, but then I was good.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, what other questions do you guys have? Jamie asks, what are some things that we noticed in the beginning?
Well, we noticed she stopped reading. She was having trouble with a little task. When we were planning on going somewhere, she tried to get involved in the packing, and that was a disaster. She overpacked stuff, and she shuffled papers on us. We had to be very careful on anything that came into the house. So those were the first few. She stopped cooking too when we were still in Florida.
Allison wants to know, any advice for someone just starting the journey?
Advice in starting the journey, I guess, is just that you've got to understand that this is progressively going to, day by day, get worse. There'll be some ups, but mostly downs. And you just have to live with it and work through it and be patient.
Right. The prospect of, typically when you have a situation, you see a doctor, you get medicine, you do things get better. You have to kind of make yourself understand that it's only going to get worse. Someone fussed at us once in the comments that we were, how could we treat her in the way of we were feeding her or helping her eat, and she should learn how to do it. And you have to have the mindset, no, she's not going to learn how to do it. Today she's struggling to eat. Tomorrow she's going to forget how to use the spoon.
Yeah.
And once we made peace with that mindset, not that it's a fun mindset to have, but it definitely helped us understand the day that she couldn't work the spoon, you can't get frustrated at her because you'd be like, her, hold the spoon right. You're not holding the spoon right. No, she's forgotten. She's aging backwards.
She didn't wash her hands.
Right.
Too. We uncovered that.
Right. Washing the hands. I mean, you just forget everything that they knew. So the sooner you can make peace with that. And then the other piece of advice is, no matter how you do it, friends, family, church people, neighbors, hire it if you can. Look for community programs. Call the Alzheimer's Association for resources, but get some respite care. Respite care. The caregiver is going to burn out. The caregiver is going to have health issues long before the person that you're caring for. So make sure you're taking care of yourself first. It's just like the airplane. Put on your mask before assisting others putting on theirs. Where's the next father-son adventure off to?
That'll be our cruise.
Thanksgiving, we're going on a cruise to the ABC Islands, and then we're going back to Disney for some early December Christmas activities. So we're going to go to the Christmas party. We're going to see the place all decorated and gingerbread houses and all that sort of stuff. And we're going to see Jollywood Nights, which is a Christmas party that they have at Hollywood
We'll get
Studios.
to stop at Buc-ee's.
We'll stop at Buc-ee's. We're going to drive that trip. So we'll get to stop at Buc-ee's. So look for some content from Buc-ee's. We'll wear our Buc-ee's shirts.
Yeah.
Janie, what's your advice to future caregivers for family regarding your own mental health, services, resources, etc.? I mean, you need to be forward with your family about what you need. Forward with your siblings or other people in your family that what kind of support you need. And not everybody's going to be able to give it. I have two brothers. One was unhelpful and uninvolved in the whole process, and the other at a point was able to help financially and in other supportive ways. He wasn't able to be 24/7 immersed in it and attend all the appointments and things like that I could, because I had more flexibility with my work, but he was able to be supportive there as well. And then be forward about needing the respite. The respite, we cannot stress enough how important the respite is. Marilyn wants to know, when she would get upset, how to be calm her down.
Well, you have to talk very carefully with her and maybe change the subject.
Redirection. I think redirection is if she'd start to get aggravated at him about something, and I could redirect to the puppy or the coffee mug. I mean, they have Alzheimer's, so they have short-term memory issues. So use that to your advantage, because they're just living in their head, and the happier you can make them. So if I could create a distraction about, hey, that's a really cute coffee mug. Did you see your new coffee mug? And sometimes that would be all it would take. Now, sometimes she could stay fixated on whatever she was upset about, but if you kept working at the redirection, you could steer away. So go ahead and use, people don't like to lie to their loved ones, but you can fib to someone with Alzheimer's or dementia. So if he was out and she was aggravated where he was, where is he? He'll be home. He just texted me. He'll be home in 5 minutes, because to them 5 minutes is no concept. So sometimes that was enough to just kind of satisfy Dina would do that when you and I were gone. She'd be wondering where we were, and just, they're coming.
She would get mad at me almost every evening about wanting to go home.
Right.
And we got to get out of here because these people want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And you'd have to redirect the conversation into some other thing. And then she was all right. But it was a few minutes.
Yeah.
She would be mostly angry at me.
Yeah.
Because I was the one that was to take her home.
I could usually intercept that anger, and she was often overly careful to not upset me or aggravate me. She didn't want to. She was generally on her best behavior around me.
Yeah.
So if they were having a problem, I could be like, "What's the problem down there?" She would calm right down. Or you could say, "Josh is going to come down here. You're going to get upset." And she didn't want to get upset.
Don't get Josh mad.
She knew it was my house and my situation, and that they were living with me. So she did know that, and she didn't want to cause any trouble. Teresa's asking, how did we get past the grief She lost her mom recently. I'm so sorry. And you struggle with moving on without her. Definitely a hard one. I mean, we had done our fair share of preparing, but nothing really totally prepares you. And it was sad.
Yeah. When it gets down to the very end, those last 2, 3, 4 weeks
Were brutal.
It's brutal, and you know the end is coming. What day is it going to be? You're not sure, and we don't get over the grief, no, but we think of the good times that we had.
And you towards the end, you kind of, I mean, it almost makes you a little bit guilty because, you know, on one hand, you don't want to see her go, but then another hand, she was pretty miserable, not eating, labored breathing, uncomfortable.
Yeah. She didn't have a good life.
No, you just kind of like, man, it would be good for her to go and not suffer anymore. But it's hard to kind of admit that. And then you're like, how could I, you know, wish that this would be over? Because at the end of the caregiving journey, it's like running a marathon. And you ran a marathon. I mean, we all ran a marathon for 11 years, but you ran the lead of that marathon for 11 years. And so it's pretty tiring at the end. You're ready for it to be over.
It bothers me to go to the cemetery.
Yeah.
I want to go there,
Yeah.
but it bothers me.
Right. She's nice and close. We can visit a lot. For us, you know, he hadn't done so much in so long because you never wanted to leave her. We could have arranged respite. We could have had Dina stay here, and Mom would have been absolutely fine, and Dina would have done a good job, and we could have finagled an overnight somewhere or whatever. But you never really wanted to leave her overnight. So
I didn't want to put somebody else in that responsibility that we had on a daily basis.
Yeah. So you didn't get to do anything, especially for the last couple of years. So one of the things, we were able to redirect our grief into doing some fun things ourselves and making some more memories. And that's why we're traveling so much. And I said to him, we've got stuff planned all the way through your birthday in March, and it's a little aggressive, and maybe I shouldn't be spending that much money right now. But you know, how much longer are you going to be able to do it and have the mobility? And so we'll take advantage of doing it while he can, just because he deserves a little bit of fun, and we've managed to have a lot of fun.
We have.
After she passed, we went to Vegas. We went on a couple of cruises. We've been to Disney a couple times.
We've been to shows downtown.
Yeah, we've done some stuff out to eat and stuff more than usual.
We have flexibility of going out to eat or go somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and then for us, and this isn't advice that helps everyone, so I don't know how to make it applicable, but you could do this too. I mean, us writing the book of her story was kind of cathartic and helpful in the grief process for me. So I don't know if you're a writer, but even if you don't need to even publish the book, but you could write your mom's story down, write your journey down.
For your children.
For your children or whatever, that may help. So, Nana Doodle's on. She's sent a lot of things to Mom over the years, and the T-shirts and things, and she says, love you guys. Thanks for sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you.
Julie wants to know, I was wondering how we got her to bathe when she did not want one. Her father-in-law is very difficult at that. This was the cause of many knockdown, drag-out battles, right? Of you giving her a shower.
Right, and then we got Louise in here, and Louise, no nonsense. She went right in there and did her shower with Louise or Dina or Bree or whoever was here.
We did get the very first time we got an outside aide to help us. The main purpose was giving her a shower a couple times a week, and they had more success getting it done than we did. You know,
I was doing it. You were assisting me.
Yeah,
whatever.
They found that finesse of you know, how to kind of just get her in there and not make a big deal out of it. And then there was a degree that she didn't want to misbehave. She even though she didn't remember people, she knew us. And so she was okay to misbehave and push back for us. But once it was kind of like a stranger, she wanted to be polite. And, you know, now as she got more familiar and such with Dina, Dina sometimes got her hair pulled. Dina sometimes got smacked. You had to be. Dina learned to be pretty quick. And we did have a woman who had a wig or a weave that I think she lost I think the wig got pulled off at some point. So if they didn't have good reflexes, they didn't work. The worst I remember, I mean, it's got to do with the routine. And our first aide that helped us, she got good at coming up with the routine. She was there Tuesdays and Fridays, and you and I would leave, and she would, get to a certain point and take her either up. Well, back then you guys were upstairs, but take her up there and take care of it. The worst that I remember was when I broke the routine. We had the Charlotte Observer coming to film and interview us, and they were coming, I don't know, mid-morning or something like that, and we had the caregiver come in the morning, and we thought, well, we give her a shower before they come. And if you remember, it was like we broke that routine up, and then also he and I were trying to help the aide get it done. That broke the routine up. We should have made ourselves scarce and let her just do it. But I think you and I tried to help, and it ended up being a knockdown, drag out. And then I was like, we were under pressure, and then I felt bad because I'm like, I'm doing this because the Charlotte Observer is coming to interview us, and I've stressed everybody out, and we didn't need to. And if we'd have just let the routine, if I'd have been more respectful of the routine. So I kind of learned at that point we needed to keep the routine for the most part.
One of the problems that we had first off is we had a tub with a shower in the tub, and it was problematic to get her to step over into the tub. The tub floor was about 3 inches higher than the main floor, so it was kind of dangerous to step out of the tub.
Yeah.
So then we changed bedrooms, and we got where we have a walk-in shower, and we had a shower chair and things like that improved the whole bathing situation.
Yeah. When they switched and took my room downstairs, it has a walk-in shower. There was a glass door. There was a glass wall and a glass door. And between my brother and I, we were able to tear the glass wall out and just hang up a curtain. And then that was a small lip. And then we got once she wasn't as mobile, we got the shower wheelchair. And the shower wheelchair, and I've got a link to this. If you go to my links, there's an Amazon store with some of the items. But it also was like a toilet chair. So it had the hole in the bottom. And so we could put her in that shower wheelchair, and we could tip it back enough. Now she had handles on the back to get the front of it in there. And then you could pick it up, and you had to lift the back, but it was easier lifting that than trying to lift her because she's slippery, wet, and not cooperative, and put the chair right in there. And sometimes we had handles in there. Sometimes, early on, Dina could get her to stand up to be clean, but then times when either she wouldn't stand up or couldn't stand up anymore, Dina called it mechanic style. She could use the hole in the bottom to kind of get things clean. So that worked out well and was a lot safer getting her in and out. And then we could do the opposite in reverse, bring her out, dry her up, bring her to the bedroom, cover her with towels, clean her up, dry her up, get her dressed, change her, that whole thing. Teresa's asking, how's Dina doing? Do you get to talk to her?
Yeah, about once a week.
I haven't texted with her in a while, but you do. She texts you usually on football Sundays or whatever.
Yep.
I think she's doing well. She's in Maryland. She's doing home care. Whoever's got her taking care of them obviously is very blessed and probably needed her help. So we're grateful. We miss her and wish she were around here. But, she was companionship and kind of help for us around the house, but you don't need that level of care.
Right.
But as long as she wanted to stay here, I was willing to figure out how to make that work because we loved having her here. So that was a blessing for us. She came along at just the right time. A couple people were asking about Dina. Let's see here. Now I'm scrolling, catching up more comments. Somebody said they had a coworker whose mother had Alzheimer's, and her mother always thought her daughter was her niece, and she just went with it. Yeah, that's a good plan. Again, just live in their world, step into their reality. And we both had trouble doing this at times because you want to correct her and say, no, this is the way it is. But sometimes you're just better off to agree and just see what they.
She knew both of us. So.
Yeah. Did she sense in the beginning that something wasn't right?
No.
she really, I think
If she did, she never said nothing.
yeah, she covered well. So if she knew anything was wrong, she never said anything. She covered well. And by the time she was officially diagnosed, she was moderate to severe. So
About 2 years ago, she would ask, "What's wrong with me?"
yeah. Yeah, she knew something was wrong. She couldn't articulate what the problem was.
She knew she wasn't right, but she didn't. She wanted to know what it was, but we kind of changed the topic and sloughed it off.
Yeah, nothing's wrong with you. You're okay. You're
fine.
You're fine. You're safe. You're here. You know, don't worry. You're fine. And
You're tired out tonight.
that generally helped us. Someone's asking, how did we find Dina? So Dina and I worked together at a doctor's office. She was one of the nurses there, and I was his special project manager, did his IT stuff, and we worked together probably for 10 years.
Yeah.
And the doctor passed. And about the time the doctor passed, we had some part-time helpers on and off, and some were better than others. We had someone that fell asleep on the sofa while they were supposed to be watching Mom, and so there were challenges. And you had cataract surgery right about that time, and Dina was newly unemployed, and so I needed extra help. So I had Dina come to kind of fill in. All of a sudden, we needed help 7 days a week because you couldn't, with the cataract surgery, you couldn't bend down to even lift or help her put her pants on or whatever. So in doing that, we discovered, I mean, we knew how amazing Dina was because Dina had, before she worked at the medical clinic, she'd actually taken care of the doctor's father. And so we knew she was good because he liked her and the doctor liked her enough to hire her in the clinic. But we got to thinking about, well, wait a minute, we could replace some of the help that we had that was not stellar and make a full-time position. And that kind of was what we needed at the time and what Dina needed at the time. And my house was just a few minutes from the clinic. So it just kind of seemed like it wasn't going to disrupt anybody's schedule too much. Mom already knew her, whether she
Betty
remembered
and I both
or not.
knew her because
Yeah.
I did
You worked at the clinic part-time.
Part-time janitorial, and Betty always went with me, so she knew all the girls at the clinic. And
yeah. So before that, how did we find our first caregiver? Well, I started talking to people that I knew. I started asking on Facebook. Even before we had a big following, I started asking for...
Through somebody from church, right?
Yeah, it was through somebody from church.
Yeah.
Actually, the irony is I started asking on Facebook. Somebody reached out that was looking for work, that was taking care of someone that had passed, and they had references, a couple of people that I knew from church, and a couple of those references kind of steered me in a different direction, but led me to somebody else. So it's if you have a personal connection or you can put the word out among your friends, family, church members, you know, see who knows somebody who's looking to be a caregiver or has experience in that.
Maybe
it can reach
even
you
the
right.
Alzheimer's would probably have a list.
Yeah, if you need help, the Alzheimer's Association has a 24/7 care hotline on their website. All right, Cadence. Bob, why do you like butter so much?
Why do I like butter?
Right.
Who doesn't like butter?
Right. Tell the story of how you stockpiled butter.
I was buying butter at the big box store, like Costco or Sam's Club, and bought 4 pounds at one time in a carton. And one time Josh and I were shopping, and I says, I think I need butter. So we picked up another package of 4, and then he discovered that I had like 9 pounds stockpiled.
Yeah, you'd overstocked.
Yeah, so eventually I froze the butter because I didn't want it to get rancid. But then I donated it all to Dina and her church, and so it went to good use. And then people have sent us butter.
People sent us butter. Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I see Susan Carr's online, our cousin Susan. So hi, Susan.
Hi, Susan.
All right, we've got a question from a troll online. We've got a troll.
Okay,
Renee Hill, troll. She's dead and gone, and we're trying to make money off of her. No 2 Alzheimer's patients are alike. Well, yes, she's dead and gone. Thank you for that astute observation. Making money off her. We've raised over $100,000 for the Alzheimer's Association, and we've done caregiver scholarships to 6 or 7 caregivers who are caring for a loved one at home with Alzheimer's or dementia. We will do another caregiver scholarship in my mother's name on her birthday, which is December 1st. We will publish your book and the Flat Stanley book hopefully by the end of this year, and a portion of the proceeds of that will go to our Alzheimer's Association fundraiser. So,
and the proceeds from Betty's book,
right?
Yeah,
a portion of the proceeds from the Betty book helped us cross over that $100,000 threshold. So we are one of the top fundraisers in the world for the Alzheimer's Association. I think this year we were number 6 or 7 in the state of North Carolina.
And we have donated, Josh has donated all the chairs, the ramps, all the aids that we had. He's donated that to different people.
Yeah.
So.
We also received a lot of gifts along the way, lots of stuffed animals and slippers and blankets, and you saw videos of all the, and we kept a lot of things that were personal or that were sent from around the world or personalized to her, obviously, but there was only so many slippers and blankets and activities, fidget blankets and things like that we needed. And so through a lady named Michelle Cook, who was a connection through the Alzheimer's Association, she works with a variety of nursing homes in the area. She set up the Betty Gives program, and hundreds of items. We literally gave carloads of items, and what she did is she went to homes to people that did not have family members or people visiting, and she gave these folks some of these items, the slippers, the stuffed animals, the fidget blankets, all those things. And we have photos where they held a sign that was the Betty Gives program. And so we were able to give a lot of that stuff back. So by publishing our journey, we've been able to bring a lot of awareness. We've been able to help a lot of people. And I know you say no two patients are alike, but I have personally talked to hundreds of caregivers through our comments and people dealing with this, and there are more similarities than differences when it comes to Alzheimer's. Yes, no two people are exactly alike, but there are common threads in things to look for, techniques that work. There were lots of things along the way that you and I learned from listening to others in our comments, and there were lots of things we were able to teach. So there's our troll comment of the evening. Okay, let me scroll back all the people telling that lady to get lost and find the next question. Let's see. Okay, they're still on the nasty comment. I'm way behind. I'm 130 something comments behind because I paused it to answer questions. So I'm scrolling and looking for more questions. Somebody said I have the right idea, enjoying your dad while he's here, and we're cherishing the memories, and that's what we're enjoying doing. How do you order a book? The I'm Betty book is available either on Amazon. Just search I'm Betty and you'll see the famous mirror picture. And you can get that anywhere in the world. If you're in the US and you want an autographed or a personalized copy, you can go to our website, I'mBetty.com, and Dad and I personalize and sign them and we'll send them out. It's hard for us to do that outside of the country because it really does cost exponentially more than the book to mail the book. And so to sign them, we have to physically have the book here and be able to sign it and send it out. So sadly, we can't really economically do that outside the country. But if you're outside the country, you can get it on Amazon, because what Amazon does, Amazon prints and fulfills the book from your local Amazon. So if you're in Australia, they print the book from Australia. Oh, somebody did something. I don't know what that is. Somebody sent candy. See, it turned all...
Oh, yeah?
Thank you for the stars. I don't know what the stars are. I think the stars are like a penny, but thank you for sending them. It makes the screen do some cool stuff. I'm scrolling for the next question. Somebody said they found hospice was a great help for your mom, for their mom.
Yeah, we have nothing but positive comments.
Yeah, we were on palliative care. We were on hospice. Dina's watching. Hello, Dina.
Hi, Dina.
Yeah, you just missed. We had people asking how we found you, and we just told your story. So everyone say hi to Dina. Dina's watching right now. We miss you, Dina. We love you. We miss you, and wish you were here.
The plants are doing good, Dina.
He's keeping the plants alive, but when we go away Thanksgiving, I don't know. We're gonna have to let the neighbor take care of them for us. back to hospice. I mean, hospice was able to provide us with the adjustable bed. We hit a point with Mom where she worked against us getting her out of bed, and we were trying to get her to sit up, and it would take 3 of us. It would be a dad, Dina, and my project, and we would work to get her up and get her to stand up and get her in the wheelchair, and it was dangerous for us all. You and our backs were all messed up.
She went down on the floor, slipped
down
on
the floor several times, and hospice came in and said, we need the adjustable bed that we can lift up, and we can change her in bed, and then we can tip it up, and then we can do things. And they visited with us once a week, and they would just take time, not only to assess her, but they took time to sit and visit with us. And what are the challenges we're having? And we're having a problem with this. And they had so much experience and knowledge to be able to say, well, try this or do this, or this is one way you can do that. And that information was all super helpful.
Yeah, we had just the nicest nurse.
This lady who'd asked about hospice, Geraldine, she also said the problem with dementia, that her mom couldn't see well. And we experienced that with my mother, both the vision and the hearing. And we took her at some point for a hearing test, and the doctor explained that, at her age, in her 80s, she probably does have hearing problems, but the dementia and the Alzheimer's almost scrambles those vision and hearing signals. So it kind of shuffles them up. So the vision, imagine looking through a kaleidoscope and things are kind of scrambled. The hearing's the same thing. So a lot of times when she couldn't hear us, sometimes it's cognitive because there's a disconnect. A disconnect between the physical hearing and the processing in the brain to actually understand it. So they said, we can do a hearing aid, but it's only going to amplify the noise of the scrambled signal and may actually make it worse. So we had a lot of comments too that, Mom looked like she struggled to see, and maybe she did struggle to see, but there also is that scramble, it's almost like dyslexia, letters, numbers, things moved around, and
she couldn't do puzzles or anything
like
that.
No. How come she didn't like getting her hair brushed? You loved to brush her hair just to annoy her, didn't you?
Yes.
Oh,
not to annoy
Zach
her.
was who sent those stars. Our buddy Zach, the former chef at Blue Star Grill, sent us the stars. Thank you, Zach. He's a good guy. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No,
The hairbrush. You like to brush her hair to annoy her.
No, I didn't. I didn't do it to annoy her. I wanted her hair to look decent.
I had female friends that were like, you can't film her 2 days in a row wearing the same shirt. And good golly, fix her hair. Like, she's going to be mortified. So we don't think about things like that. So we had to get her camera ready, right?
Yes.
Chris wants to know if we like the Bills.
Do we like the Bills? I was season ticket holder for years. So I went to the second year of the Buffalo Bills' existence, 65 years ago.
Good for you. Geraldine, did you find that she would get stuck on a certain thing, like a record that skipped and kept repeating?
Early on, she did.
Yes. And even later when she wanted to go home. Some nights when she was sundowning and she'd want to go home. One of the questions I scrolled by, and I think I forgot to address it, but somebody said, what home was she talking about?
That we never could figure out.
We never could figure out, but it happened at night. So I almost think the translation of I want to go home is I want to go to sleep. I'm tired. I think that always happened when she was tired.
She always made the comment that we've got to get out of here. These people want to go to sleep.
She felt like she was visiting. We got to get, she'd be mad at him. Get ready. Let's get out of here. These people got to go to sleep. We're being rude. We got to get out of here. And she would spiral on that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, somebody pointed out that Dina's watching. Oh, Sherry sent some stars too. I'm looking for the next question. What happened to Dad's nose? We kind of already talked about that, but if you missed it, he had skin cancer and had Mohs surgery. Denise wants to know what color is my new car. My new car is red. It's the red Honda Passport. I had a previous lease that was very similar looking car. I had a red Nissan Pathfinder, and you had a white Honda Passport. And my lease was coming up last fall, and I would have turned it in and leased another car. And that was about the time you hadn't committed to not driving yet, but you also had decided you didn't drive much, and that maybe I should just turn my car in and we'll use his car for the remainder. He had one more year on his lease.
Yeah, I wasn't seeing that very.
You weren't seeing that good, and we could save some money. We could share the car. We don't, he doesn't need to really go anywhere without me, sort of thing. And then it wasn't too long after that you decided you don't really want to drive. So that was good, because I would have locked into a new 3-year lease, and then your car would have sat for an entire year, not being used. And it only had 2,800 miles on it after sitting in my car in my garage for 2 years.
I just renewed my license in March.
Yeah, you had just renewed your license, but you're really not seeing that well. Right. So your car needed to be turned in by January. The dealership was calling and offering early turn-in. I explained the scenario that I need to turn it in as him, and he's not leasing another car, but I need to lease a car. So if they could work any kind of deal, I was okay to do it a little bit early, because the insurance having you on the insurance was more expensive. You're like a teenager on the insurance. I think they see 87-year-old, and the insurance was higher, and there was no way for me to change the name because it was a leased car. So now the car is back being mine, and I can insure it in my name, and it'll be a little cheaper. And
I had no tickets and no accidents.
Yeah, you were a good driver. Somebody said every time they see a butter ornament, you think of you.
I have a bunch of butter ornaments.
How long has Betty been gone? She passed last July. She passed July 19th. So what's that? A little bit over a year at this point.
Yeah, year and 3-4 months.
Time flies. Did Betty have memory issues prior to being diagnosed? Yes, she did. She had some other health issues. She had some cancer and hip surgery and colon surgeries and some other surgeries that kind of accelerated it. But early on, we started to see some memory issues of repeating of stories and doing some weird things, but we really didn't address them because we had other issues that were more pressing.
She was screwing up the pills.
Yeah, mixing up the pills, stuff like that. So by the time she was officially diagnosed, she was already moderate to severe. So she was halfway through the journey by the time we officially knew for sure. But
there's nothing we could have done to change that.
Yeah. There's no. So we did have those concerns. Oh, excuse me. Did you get rid of all her clothes? We did clean out the closet, obviously, and then we were able to save a lot of her clothing that we remembered. We had a friend, Lori Janesy, a friend of mine from church that makes memory quilts, and she took the clothing we saved and she made a big memory quilt with squares from those shirts. Some of those were things she wore a lot that we just remember her wearing. Other things were
personalized gifts.
Yeah, people had sent her Betty shirts and Cookie Monster shirts and Alzheimer shirts and things like that. And we were able to save those things and turn them into this memory quilt, and that's the quilt that's on your bed.
And then the scraps were made into puppy dogs.
Puppy dogs. He and I each have a puppy dog that's made out of the clothing. Dina has one and my brother has one.
And then Flat Stanley had some.
Flat Stanley's got some shirts that are made out of Betty's clothes. What would you say was the very first sign that you noticed something was wrong, Dad?
Betty and I were in Florida, and I managed the bingo games in Florida at our park, RV park. And Betty worked for me. She would sell tickets, and she also played bingo. And I began to notice that she's not keeping up with her bingo game. She was missing numbers, and she couldn't count money anymore. She was always handing me the money to double check it. And when she talked to somebody, she wouldn't look them in the eye. She would look to me constantly for confirmation on what she was saying. And I thought that was odd. If you're talking to somebody, you look them in the eye. And so those were the real early signs. And she was taking... I'd set my medicine out at night, and she'd take my medicine.
Yeah, she'd take his pills.
And I would get
mad. What are you doing?
Her.
Yeah.
So
Clarice wants to know how we deal with the trolls and keep a positive outlook. It took us a little while to get there, but obviously, when you share on the internet, as you do, you get your fair share of people who want to be mean or jealous or whatever, or get the attention. And so we just kind of had to come to terms with that. That's just part of it. But I feel like we're able to do more good. You know, some people have said to me, I'd have to just not share anything, and, you know, I can't deal with that. But more good comes from us sharing and doing things and continuing kind of the mission and talking about Alzheimer's. So we have to kind of take that. They ask, do we take a few minutes and breathe first? Do you ignore them? Sometimes I have fun roasting them. Sometimes I just ignore them. Sometimes I just block them. Sometimes I write a whole big nasty response. And sometimes I write the whole big nasty response, then I decide that's stupid and I go ahead and block them and delete them, and then the comments all go away.
I used to get annoyed at first.
Yeah. But, you know, now we just try to look for it for fun. Some of my friends, my actual friends that I know in real life, like to watch for stuff and kind of get into it with people, and then they'll text me and be like, oh gosh, you know, did you see, you know, they're in there fighting for us.
And there's a certain individual that likes to stir the pot too. I won't mention any names.
Father Jim will say silly things to get everybody riled up every once in a while. Okay, let's see. Looking for more questions. What's your favorite memory with Betty?
My favorite memory, Betty? Oh, probably our boating days.
Yeah, the boating days were really fun.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone. I was doing I was taking part this week in a research project from the University of Southern California about carefluencers, which is a term that they invented, but it actually, when you think about it, it's the influencers that are caregivers, which is like what we were. And something came about memories, and I talked about how, you know, I look at the Facebook memories every day, and there's pretty much a video or more per day to watch, and we repost a lot of videos, and there's a lot of fake accounts that repost videos, and you come across all the fake accounts, and I'll sit up there and I'll hear him watching a video from 2 years ago of when we were giving her a Cookie Monster doll or a puppy or whatever.
The one thing we laughed about this morning was that several years ago, Betty got this ad in the newspaper, or in the mail.
Yes.
And it was actually a hearing aid ad. And she
thought it was mail for her, but she never got any mail.
She was so amused.
And she was giggling, and she's opening this thing, and she's explaining to him that we can go to the Red Rock Cafe and we can hear this presentation about hearing aids, and she's tickled at the fact that they think she needs a hearing aid, and I'm recording the whole thing, and this was before we were viral, but I always recorded and shared that stuff. So that's why I have, you know, obviously video became more prominent.
Then she discovered it was actually my mail.
She discovered it was his mail. It wasn't even her mail, and she was so excited about it. And then you were just like, throw that crap away, because, you know, she was all fixated on junk mail. And then the girls at the office
all sent her mail.
They got excited because she was so excited about mail. So then they all wrote on a card for her, and they mailed it. And I did it again. You know, I'm like, hey, you got mail. You know, and we let her open it. And then she's like, am I dying or something? Why'd they all send me this nice card about how much they love me? So we had fun. We had fun with that.
We laughed about it this morning.
Kathy wants to know, does Alzheimer's run in our family?
No.
Not to our knowledge.
Not my mother or my
either side.
family or her family.
So I know there's some genetic factors, but I also know there's environmental factors. For her, we feel like all the surgeries she had in a short period of time accelerated. She definitely didn't return to baseline. She had a colon surgery, a hernia surgery, a hip surgery. Then she had lung cancer. She had lung surgery. She had sepsis a couple times, so there were 2 or 3 hospitalizations. Then she had kidney cancer, and she had kidney surgery, and there was probably another sepsis or hospitalization with that.
And then she had the ulcer.
She had a bleeding ulcer.
She was out twice for the ulcer.
Yeah. So those things really accelerated it. Here's somebody with the name Betty that worked with Alzheimer's patients for 27 years and loved watching our mother and learned new things also including the gate belt with loops on it. So that was why we shared. I mean, we learned so much from the comments and things, but anything we learned, we loved to share. The fun story or the heartfelt story about us sharing, we discovered at one point that Mom was doing a lot of picking and she was bleeding. And a friend of mine had gotten, she'd do this. She'd run her hand up her sleeve and she'd scratch and pick. A friend of mine, we'd gone out to lunch and she had just gotten this SNS nail service, which I don't know anything about manicures, but it was like a dip nail treatment. And it made her nail dull. And she said she had trouble that morning trying to pick a pimple. So we said, let's try. We were already taking her, even though throughout my mother's whole life, she never got manicures or went to the nail salon or did any of that. But when we reached the point where I was trying to cut her nails, it was problematic. She didn't like it. I started taking her to the nail salon because, again, she behaved better for a stranger and they would make it special and it felt like it was a treat and they would paint it pretty and it kind of was the distraction that made it. So I went back and we'd always say, and wax the chin or whatever. But I said, make the nails short. And the lady there was wonderful. Her name was Linda. And she was really good with Mom. In fact, sometimes when she was going to take a while, she'd say, you two can go and come back. And we'd run to the grocery store or something and leave her there and knew that they would take care of her. But they put this dip treatment on, which made her nails dull. And the picking problem went away. And we went back to the neurologist who had already sent us to dermatologists, and we'd had creams for itchy skin, and we'd had pills for anxiety and all these things. We'd tried things probably for about a year on the picking situation. And we said, we solved it. Here's how. And he was like blown away. Something at a nail salon. He's like, I got to talk to my teenage daughter about what this is and understand. And then we came back 6 months, a year later, December, it was right before Christmas time. And he says, I've helped 5 patients with that advice. And he says, you guys taught me how to think better as a doctor, to think outside the box, because I've only thought how you treat things with medicine. And he says, I had a man with the same problem and we started wearing gloves and the problem was solved, so it's like.
We were on a cruise and we discovered that she was picking herself, and no exaggeration, we went through 50 bandages all over her back, her arms, her legs,
yeah.
And she was bleeding everywhere and getting it on her clothes. And we were just beside ourselves on what to do. We were buying bandages in a foreign port.
Yes, we were. Here's a question that comes up a lot. Gay wants to know what I do for a living. And so what I do for a living is complicated, and I do a variety of different things. It all revolves around technology and websites and computer stuff. But primarily I'm a web developer and programmer. I create not only websites for businesses, but also create sometimes some complex custom written systems that may either do special things or be an e-commerce type of thing. I'm largely self-employed, so I work as a contractor for a variety of companies. One large company that I work for in Vegas is something called Sunrise Marketing, and through them we do a variety of other website projects, but they also have, they are also owners in a company that does online homeschool curriculum, and so I have built the system that people enroll in and add and remove classes and that sort of thing, so I work through them for that curriculum company. And they also have a couple of online private schools which also utilize similar things. So I do those back-end things. I work part-time for my church doing worship production. And I work part-time for Taste of Buffalo Pizzeria doing business management. I do the payroll, I do the accounting, bookkeeping, I do their tech stuff, I do their website, that sort of stuff. Prior to that, I did work for in addition to all those things, I worked for a very prominent alternative doctor here in town. I worked for him for a number of years as his special project manager, and I was basically responsible for anything in his world that was not really the medical clinic. So he had books and DVDs and websites and products sold and all of that, and I was responsible for all of those things. So I do continue to work with a variety of different companies, and that type of work has allowed me to be very blessed because, first of all, it's not cheap work. I can bill can bill, because it's very customized and specialized, I can bill a high fee for that, and can be paid well, and I can do that from anywhere. And a lot of these systems, once I've built the systems, which was a lot of work, I'm on a retainer to maintain those systems if there's problems and whatever. So I can go on my cruises and I can be flexible. I can go to Disney and be flexible and just have to jump on the computer if there's a problem. It was a huge blessing during the caregiving process, because I largely worked at home. When the doctor was alive, I would go to his office, which was a few minutes from the house, a couple days a week. I used to go to the church office one day a week for a meeting. Don't really do that anymore. For the most part now, I'm around the house. I go to Vegas 3 or 4 times a year just to kind of have some FaceTime with various clients out there. But it was very flexible in when we had appointments, or I'm sitting upstairs working and we're having a problem, or we need to change mom, or we've got a bathroom disaster. And, I was very close to be able to just come downstairs and deal with it. And that's one thing my brother, he, with all the appointments and things we had, because you had your fair share of health issues throughout it all too, he said, I'd lose my job if I had to, be involved in that many meetings and things. When mom went through the cancer stuff, she was doing scans every 3 months, and we were having to go places. You'd have to go do the scan, and then you'd have to go back for the results, and it just was a lot of appointments. So,
and we've lived with you for a number of years.
Right. I'm trying to think when you guys we moved to this house 8 years ago, and you guys were already living with me for years.
Yeah.
Prior to that, probably 2008. 18 is when we moved to Mooresville. So probably 2000.
Around 10 or 12.
10 or 12.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We're coming up on 8 o'clock, so we're gonna stop at 8, but we are gonna keep doing this. I'm scrolling to see if there's any more questions here. There's lots of questions here. I'm hundreds of comments behind. Here's Julie says, I hope you know that sharing her story has helped people, and people loved her smile and the way we cared for her. So I'm glad that we've been able to help so many people. That's definitely something that made us happy and would make mom happy, knowing that we made a difference.
There was a comment on her yearbook about her smile.
Right, there was. I posted that. Let's see, I'm looking. How did you meet Betty, and how did you know she was the one you would marry? Was it love at first sight? Tell that story while I find another question.
Well, I met her in school, of course, and my best friend and I were we double dated. I dated another girl, and he dated Betty, and he was a year ahead of me in school, so he went away to college, and I got a chance to take Betty to a party. It was in a remote area. Our class was having this party, and we went off in the woods, and we were exploring some of the area there, and I don't know whether she kissed me or I kissed her, but I was hooked from that.
You guys used to argue about that. Now we'll never know, because we don't have the other side of the story anymore to contend. Talking about the lung cancer, somebody asked if mom was a smoker.
Yes, she was.
She was for a number of years. She quit when I was little, but we did discover kind of up into my teen years she was sneaking them. So I'm sure that played a part in her.
We'd go outside to plow the snow, and then we discover she's standing in the back door blowing the smoke out.
Busted. But by the time she had lung cancer, she had quit for 30 or 20 something, 30 years.
Yeah.
Did she partake in cocktails casually in the boating years and stuff? She'd have her cocktail.
Yeah.
Not a heavy drinker, but social drinker. And even in the later years, and we even talked to the neurologist about this, sometimes at night she'd get kind of wound up upset, going home, whatever, and kind of be anxious. And I would pour a glass of cranberry juice and some Tito's, and I would say, here, drink your juice. And I felt bad for doing that, but it sure did calm her down. She just mellowed right out. And the neurologist is like, look, whatever helps you at this point. It's not like you're poisoning. I mean, she's having a cocktail, which she would have had periodically anyway. Yeah. And it wasn't an everyday thing or whatever, but it was a tool in my tool bag. I mean, lots of people have a stressful day or are stressed out and to have a cocktail to relax. So
she
sometimes
liked her jackpot punch.
She liked her jackpot punch. We have videos of that. Did she wake up during the night?
Very rarely. Very rarely.
We worked hard to keep her in those stages. We kind of found the zone. We worked hard to keep her awake late enough so that she would sleep all night. Because you did have her wake up a few times. Like she'd wake up, she'd go to bed real early, and she'd wake up before you even went to bed, thinking it's time to get up. And then she'd be like, "Come on, let's go, let's get dressed." And
I had her wake up in the middle of the night a couple of times, and then she'd want to get up, and I didn't want to get up. And I had a hard time keeping her in bed.
Sandra's asking, where did Betty pass? Did she go in her sleep? She was here at home the last couple of days. She was on about day 6 or 8 of not really eating that much. Hospice had been keeping up with us every day or every other day. She kind of hit the point where she wasn't eating, she wasn't drinking. We were starting to have the raspiness and the labored breathing. And we started that evening on the morphine.
Liquid morphine.
Yeah, and she went to bed that night. I think we'd given 1 dose. I did another dose before we went to sleep. And then I prepared a dose, because I think it was every 4 or 5 hours or something. I prepared a dose.
It was in an eyedropper.
Eyedropper. You woke up at
4
in the morning, and she was labored breathing again and kind of moaning or whatever, and you gave her...
I gave her the
dose. You went to the bathroom, you laid down, and you heard her take her last breath.
Yeah, she stopped breathing probably 15, 20 minutes after that.
That was probably the first day that she suffered. And so that she probably suffered from about 3 o'clock. That morning that she woke up, when the aide was here changing her, she was beginning to bleed internally. Organs were shutting down. So in the diaper, we had a lot of blood and things, that the only way to solve that would have been taking her to the hospital for scans and things she wouldn't have tolerated. But hospice said it's just things are shutting down in the digestive system. And so we kind of knew once that was happening, we had a lot of blood in the diaper several times that day, that was probably the end. So she kind of suffered and was on the morphine from about 3 o'clock that afternoon. My brother was going to come that night after work, and I think 3 o'clock we had hospice come again, and I called him and said, "I know you're coming after work, but come now." And he did, and he was able to see her. He and I had to go pick up the morphine. There was a mix-up. We should have had a box that was sent to us when we started hospice with the morphine in it, and we actually never got the box, so we had to. Dave and I ran out that evening or that afternoon to the drugstore to pick up that prescription, and picked up dinner for us, and so she did pass at home peacefully, right in her bed next to you. So that was probably the best.
And we had a prearranged funeral,
so we didn't have to do a lot of stuff after she died. We had it all kind of figured out, so that was very helpful. Let's see, we got 2 minutes. I'll take a couple more questions. But I'm looking for a question. What are some of the tools that helped us? The gait belt, having the gait belt that you can put around her to help hold on to her.
We had 2 different styles of gait belts.
Once we were changing her, we kind of fought changing her in bed for so long. We would get her up and get her to the bathroom, and change her pants and clean her up there. And you'd have to rely on her standing up and holding on and cooperating with you. And that was kind of dangerous at times. Once we started changing her in bed, that was a game changer, because it was so much easier and safer. And we had this big pad on the bed that had handles. And so if she was too high or low, or you could move her around on the bed with that pad. So that was very useful too.
The lightweight transfer chair is a godsend too, because one person can easily lift it into a car, and it's heavy duty enough. We put a lot of miles on. We used that chair at Disney World and New Orleans and all these places. So the shower chair was another wheelchair for the shower.
Well, it's 8 o'clock, so I'm going to keep this to an hour. We're going to keep doing these. This is our second one. We'll do one again next month, so I don't know exactly when, but stay tuned. But we'll do one sometime between our travels, probably before we take our travels, probably before Thanksgiving. We'll do a live with some Q&A. We enjoy getting to talk to our followers and to answer questions and hopefully help some others. Do you have anything you want to say? I've done a lot of talking and I haven't let you talk.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. All right. Well, thank you guys for, yeah, there we go. That's better. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. Stay warm if you're in one of these parts of the country that's cool. And thank you for your support of Facebook. Our website is I'mBetty.com. You can donate to the Alzheimer's Association on there. You can get any of the products that we use or talk about. You can find Father Jim's sauce. You can find the fundraiser we're doing with Charming Keepsakes right now, the little chairs and ornaments and jewelry and things that can have pictures of your loved ones. And so we'll post this video. We'll split it up into smaller pieces, which help people that weren't able to join the live see the event. So thank you guys. We'll see you again another night. All right, you can say goodnight. Ready?
Good night.
Did that hurt?
No.
Good night, everyone. Thank you. Now I got to figure out how to stop.